Hello guys, this is the first of the videos of my React series in which I'll be sharing you my knowledge of React programming, which is the most modern JavaScript library for building user interfaces. Now let's start to learn React by the first basic program. For this program, I'll be using Part1, which is an online web editor. For the basic programs, you can use this online editor to render your code, but in order to make high-scale projects in React, you need to use NPM, which is Node Package Manager. So to start the program in Part1, we need to click on this Create button, and then we'll come into New Pen. In the New Pen section, there are HTML, CSS, and JSS sections in which you'll write the respective code, and that respective code will render at the bottom. So let's start and do some coding in order to learn the basics of React in our first program. Now I'll be making a div element, and to make a div element you need to write div and then press the tab key. So it will create a div element automatically. Now I'll be creating an h1 tag, and for the h1 tag I'll again be using the same technique, which is to write h1 and then press the tab key. This is hello world of our React program. Now I'll be making a paragraph tag again using the same technique, and I'll write this is blue planet, since world is majority of water, so I'll be writing it as a blue planet. Now I'll be giving it a class of planet, since I know that I need to do the styling of this div element. So I've made a class, and I'll be targeting that class in my CSS. So I'll be giving the border of 1 pixel solid and a gray color. And then I'll be giving a box shadow of 0, 2 pixel, and a different shade of gray. We can see the box is present around our h1 and the paragraph tag. What I'll do next is I'll be giving a width of 200 pixel to make this container a bit small, and I'll be giving the padding between my container and the text. So the padding will be 20 pixels. Okay. So now we can see our h1 tag along with the paragraph tag and the CSS styling in the first container. Now what I'll do is I'll be pasting and making another container so that we'll learn the basics of React through it. The next I'll make it as hello Mars, and since Mars is a red planet, so I'll be writing it as a red planet. To make it inline, I'll be adding some more CSS, and now we can see that the both containers are inline, and what I'll do is I'll be giving the margin between them of 10 pixels so that they look good. Now they are looking perfect. Now let's start to do some JavaScript programming or the React programming. Now what we are seeing right now are two containers having same styling, and the content inside them is changing. That's where the React comes in, where the React renders the code from the JavaScript into the HTML and makes it super fast. So we don't need to write the containers again and again. We can use the same JavaScript code and render the content inside it. So let's practice it, and then we can understand better what I mean by it. So I'll be including the React and the React DOM. Since I'm using the core editor before, so I'm using it from the top, but you can add it from here also. And I'll be adding the JavaScript preprocessor as Babel. Okay, so now I'm starting my JavaScript programming. First, I'll be making a function with the name of planet, and in order to run a JSX code, I'll need to add a return to it. So what I'll be doing it is I'll be copying my HTML and make it as a JSX code inside my function. And I'll be rendering this JSX inside my HTML. So what I'll do is I'll create another element with an ID of P1 inside my HTML. Okay. Now to render this code inside my HTML, I'll be writing the React DOM. As you remember, I used basically two important files in my JS edition in the online web editor. The first is the React development and the second is the React DOM. So now I'll be using the React DOM function in order to render my JSX code inside the P1 ID. So I'll write React render, and then I'll be declaring the name of the function from which to render the code. And then I write document dot query selector and define the ID where I need to render this code. So I'll be rendering it at P1. Now you can see that hello world is coming back in here. If I remove it, you can't see it because it will not take the right address. So it's not present. But when I write P1, you can see that this JSX code, which is being taken from the planet, is being rendered into the P1 ID. So this React DOM is basically taking out the JSX code and then rendering it into my HTML file to the address of P1. So this first program is the basics of the React programming, in which I have taken my HTML and treated as a JSX code, and then I'm rendering it. In the next program, what I'll be doing is I'll be using more power of React, and I'll be optimizing all this HTML into a single line. That's where the power of React comes in. When the code is rendered from the JavaScript into the HTML, and the HTML becomes super optimum, so that the speed of the page is swift than ever before.